Good morning from Tennessee. It is Sunday at around 11 a.m. Not too much on the docket today as far as training goes. I'm going to do a speed session around the neighborhood, and then probably go find a pumpkin patch with the family here a little bit later. But after that, probably hit a quick mini pump that's on the program. Just kind of wanted to start getting some stuff out there, show you what we do from day to day. We've got some set paces we need to hit this morning. I'll detail all that once I get done running, probably on the cool down. Let's go get it. Just finished working out. I ended up a little further from the house than I thought, so couldn't bring the camera on the jog with me, but it was a good one. First initial takes, I enjoyed it. It was like probably the first difficult workout on this plan. Right now, I'm following a Garmin programmed 10K programmed by Jeff Galloway. He's really just got us doing some threshold stuff, some hill work, and then a speed session. I programmed in 3 available training days for the week, and then the plan is to do CrossFit every other day. So that'll be kind of how I supplement getting in strength training, anaerobic conditioning, and then hypertrophy as well. Rather than following like 5 different programs at once, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it that way to keep things simple. And honestly, like, I feel like my body responds the best when I'm doing a lot of mixed modalities in my training. So that's kind of the reasoning behind it. If I look back at pictures of myself from 2021, 2022, I was really lean. I had a lot of good muscle mass, had a lot of good muscle tone. However, my aerobic conditioning was not anywhere near what it is now, because I've spent the last year of my life, year and a half really, just focusing on my aerobic capacity, like maintaining strength for the most part, but also focusing on running, focusing on rucking. And now that I'm kind of out of that season of my life preparing for that one goal, it's cool to be able to go back and be able to do things the way that I used to, but just a little bit better. So that'll be a lot of fun. Still plan on rucking at least once a week to keep that up, because just with the demands of the job and with some of the things that I want to do in my career, you got to be able to ruck, you got to be able to move weight for a long period of time, for unknown distances, and you just have to be able to be uncomfortable for long periods of time. So that's the thought process behind that. But yeah, going more into the workout, it was 5-minute warm-up, so everything was done around the neighborhood here today. I love this neighborhood. It's really quiet, and really nobody is like walking around too much. And then we went into 4 rounds of cadence drills, so really just working on the efficiency with our stride. I noticed that when I was doing those drills, I actually was able to go faster without going up too high in my effort. So that was pretty cool to see that. And then from there, went into some gliding drills. So just working on acceleration and transitioning into like your running paces. And from there, you're pretty much warmed up enough to where you can go into your intervals. So it was 4 by 800 meters, and the goal pace was 7:20. I floated a little bit under that, just because that's just kind of who I am. I like to push a little bit harder. But really, if you're new to doing intervals and it's not something that you have experience with, it's all about replicating the effort. That's how you get used to going faster, is by putting out a fast effort, recovering, and then being able to replicate that for long periods of time. So we're really just in the beginning phases. I'm interested to see how long these intervals start to become, whether or not they're 800 meters up to a mile, or maybe they'll only go up to 1,000 meters. I'm really accustomed to doing 1,000-meter repeats just because that's what the last program I was on did a lot of. So I feel like my times dropped the most when I was doing, up to 1,000 meters. And I really noticed it when I was doing my threshold runs, but that's something we can talk about another time for another day. But yeah, floated around there. Felt like the effort was definitely good on each one. I'll do a breakdown a little bit later during the lifting session of those paces, just to see what they actually were and see what the variance was. But yeah, all in all, really good first, more difficult session on that. And yeah, looking forward to going and do some fall stuff, and I'll hit some bodybuilding later on tonight. I think it's important to remember on stuff like this, if you're currently rebuilding or starting like a new program, you might not look the same, you might not feel the same that you did before, and there's probably going to be a little bit of like an awkward period where you don't really feel like you fit in to whatever you're doing. But I think that's kind of the whole point. We're not supposed to stay static. We're not supposed to stay the same version of ourselves that we were before. You just gotta keep working on your weaknesses, man. I'm not a bodybuilder. I never really have been, but I do like getting a good pump. So just finished up a pretty big training cycle of aerobic capacity and like just sucking for long periods of time, just rucking, running, kind of maintaining strength here and there, but not a whole lot of like dedicated accessory work. So I'm looking forward to seeing like how difficult this stuff gets in the future. How we looking? How we looking? Not too bad. Difficult day when the bar feels heavy, and that's how it feels right now. It feels kind of heavy, so it's gonna be a interesting time. Let's see how this looks. Might go a little heavier, we'll see. Just do a little physique check. See how the progress is coming. Gotta get out of the garage here. It's like a maze of stuff. Whew. It's bright. The bad part about filming, so you can't always see what you look like. Probably just look pale right now. Definitely easier to see it when it's darker. Like I said, not a bodybuilder. Working on it though. Alright guys, that is it for the video. Let me know in the comments what you want to see going forward. Really just going to be sharing my training journey and the things I learned along the way about myself, about how I'm developing as a person, and the goals that I'm shooting for to be even better down the road. So, until next time guys, peace.